What is up, guys? So today I'm going to be showing you what I promised last week. This is basically a promised sequel to last week's video on Fly Fishing 101. Today I'm going to show you how to cast a fly rod. So we're actually learning how to cast, what type of movements to use, and we're actually going to go over two types of casts. The normal cast you see everyone do, you know, the big, long, elongated, beautiful, artful cast, and then the other one's going to be something called the roll cast, which is really useful in like small creek fishing and river fishing. So let's get right into this and let's learn how to cast one of these bad boys. Okay, let me pull some more line out here real quick. There we go. That should be good. Okay, so like I said, when you cast a fly rod, you use this, you know, typically a different color stuff. It's not the, you know, typical clear, you know, fluorocarbon line. This is called fly line, and this is actually what you're going to use to cast your fly out there. Because like I said, on a fly rod, you don't cast with your lure, you cast with the weight of the line. And so it's actually pretty easy to narrow down how to cast in just a few steps. And so step one would be to remember to load back. What I mean by that is when you go backwards, make sure you let your rod and your line extend fully behind you. So I want it to go all the way out, and then you'll push it all forward, okay? Other thing is, this is not like what you see in the movies where it's like a back to forth flip. It is not a flip back and forth. That'll actually snap your line and make you lose your fly. Because it'll be like a flick, and then your fly will just pop off because the line will snap against itself and cut itself. So what you actually want to try to do with your rod is make a figure 8 motion. So I'm actually going to go a little bit, swing it behind my head first, then swing it forward. So behind my head first, then swing it forward. Okay, so with that, remember that you need to load back right before you send it out, and that you want to make a figure 8 motion. You also want to be able to get more momentum with your line, and the way you can do that is when you go back, pull back on this line like this, and then push it back forward. Pull back in the line like this, and pull it back forward. So what that does is you pull the line, and it makes more momentum like that. And so see, it's just a simple little pull down here, forward. Pull down here, forward, okay? Super, super easy to remember to pull down there, and that will just get you more momentum and make it so you can send your line a little bit further. This especially helps when, you know, you're casting a little bit further already, and so it's pretty easy. Just pull back, make that figure 8 motion, and forward. So I'm now going to actually attempt to make this so you guys can actually see it a little bit better. So here's what you're gonna do, okay? Just when you start off, just pull your rod tip back, make that curve motion, and push it forward, okay? That's all we're gonna start with, just like that. Back, forward, back, forward, okay? Now we're gonna throw in the pulling of the hand to get a little bit more momentum. So we're gonna go back and pull at the same time, and then forward. Back, pull at the same time, and forward. And through this entire time, I'm making that figure 8 motion. So you watch my rod. My rod goes back like this, and then goes like that, forward. So figure 8, forward, okay? Obviously, you can't really see it on the water because I don't have any really water here right now, but that doesn't really matter for today's presentation, okay? And also a cool thing is when you're casting your fly rod, if you want to let more line out to cast a little bit further mid-cast, just pull it out when you pull back. Just like that. So as I pull back to do that momentum pull, I can also pull more line out and do that. Now we need to talk about the release, okay? This is the most important part of casting, is the release. So as I mentioned earlier, I said you want to load up the rod. What I mean by that is when I go back, I want to let all my line fully extend behind me and then send it forward. And so I don't want to just like whip it, you know, because that's not going to sit pretty on the water. And so I want to let all my line go fully behind me, extend fully, and then send it forward. Obviously, it varies on how much line you have out at the time, but that's the big thing. So let's go over the steps again, okay? So first, get the figure 8 motion down, okay? Super easy. Rod tip comes back. The rod tip itself will go over your head, and then you'll push it forward like that. Basically, just like drawing a circle with the top of your rod tip. Then after that, what you do next is you want to add in the pulling of the string in order to get more momentum. So when I go back, pull, forward, pull, forward. It sounds kind of monotonous, but with more practice, you will eventually be getting it, I promise. So then the next thing you need to do is let's try to add more line to our cast. When I pull back, I'll pull down and add more line. Okay, just like that, and it gets super easy. It's obviously a lot harder in this enclosed area that I'm in, but when you're out on the lake, it is super, super, super easy. And so all in all, when you keep practicing, you'll eventually be able to cast a little bit better and keep getting better and better and better at it. So those are the super easy steps. Remember to make that figure 8 motion with your rod, okay? You don't want to snap it back and forth because that can end up breaking your fly off by having the line snap on itself. So remember, figure 8 motion with rod, okay? And you don't have to go, oh, I got tangled up. And you don't have to go fast when you first start off. You can start off slow, you know? Like I said, even just practicing with that simple just whoop, whoop. Just practicing with that figure 8 motion can help. And, you know, you don't really have to, like, you know, use a ton of line when you're practicing. When I started out, I used probably about, let me reel in real quick. I used probably just about that much line. So literally, this is the end of my fly line, just about that. And really, I simply just sat there doing this figure 8 motion forever. And remember, it's not in the power that you get it. It's not in the swing of the rod. It's not in any of that kind of stuff. It's in basically the technique. You want to just be able to get it back there. You want it to build up and then send it forward. And you want to aim to get your line straight on the top of the water. You don't want to get this big curly mess out there because that can lead to future tangles when you keep casting. To basically get it off the water, you'll just repeat the process. Just pull back up and go. That's how you do a recast. It's really not that hard, guys. It seems kind of like difficult and a little bit intimidating, but with practice comes perfect. And so really, remember 3 steps. Okay, figure 8 motion, number 1. Okay, that's so you don't snip it off. Number 2, pull back for more momentum. And number 3, let your rod tip build up back there, so let your line fully extend out, and then launch it forward. And that's all there is to it. It's really that easy, guys. I promise you. It's not super hard. You can keep progressing with it the more, you know, by adding more line, all that kind of stuff. But this next cast is actually really, really easy to start doing the first try you do it. I guarantee you'll get it right. So this next cast is called the roll cast. It's super, super effective in like small creek fishing, you know, in tight areas like where I am right now in my backyard. And, you know, small creek fishing, river fishing, all this kind of stuff. This roll cast works perfectly. So I'll basically just flick my line out there. Okay, let's say I already cast it into the creek. And all I'm going to do for a roll cast is I'm literally going to roll my rod tip. What I mean by that is I'm just going to lift it up and then whoop it over. So my line's going to go like this. I'm going to be lifting it up, okay, and then I'm just going to whoop it over. So let's do that again real quick. Literally, just lift it up slowly off the tip, and then whoop it back over. So what your line's going to do is the line's going to be going like this. Woo, woo. Basically like 3/4 of a circle. So lift it up and over. And that is actually pretty dang accurate. The way you cast that and aim it is basically just point your rod at where you want to point to. And it just goes right there and just lift up and over. You don't even have to do that big. You can just simply just whoop, boom, just like that. And all that does is it just gets a good curving motion in your line so you can lay it out straight. And like I said, this works really, really well in like small creek fishing, which is where I do a lot of my fly fishing, or even in like, you know, river fishing. If you're just in an enclosed place, not a lot of place, not a lot of room, and obviously you don't need to cast that far if you're in a creek or a river, so you can simply just roll cast it. If I had to break this one into certain steps, it would be step 1, lift the rod tip up. Step 2, kind of pick up your rod tip, and then step 3, push it forward. So up, pick it up, woo, forward, just like that. And this is a super, super easy cast. I'll show you a side view real quick. So I'm just gonna lift up my line here real quick, and then I'm gonna push my rod tip up and over. You see my line come through like this and then flip over? That's all I'm doing. I'm just flipping my line towards wherever I want it to cast to. Guys, I'm hoping this video helps you with a little bit on how to get practicing, how to get going. It's really just once you practice those steps and get them engraved in your head and keep going, don't give up on them, you will eventually get it. So remember, for an actual cast, you want to be able to make that figure 8 motion. That's the first thing to practice, okay? See, literally just look at the bend of my wrist. I'm just twisting it, boom, twisting it, boom. Okay, it's not that hard. Then remember, when you want a little bit advanced from that, you know, you start pulling back to get more momentum. And when you want to advance from that, okay, you can start pulling back on the line down here to get more momentum. And remember, that's how you can also start pulling more line out when you want to do further cast, which comes with practice. And then the most important part about this is let the rod tip build up when you go back. Let it extend, fully get that line out there. Do a little bit of a pause, you know, like let it pause to extend. Not like a super long pause, but like if I'm gonna go back, pause, boom, forward, just like that, and that's super easy. The roll cast, just remember, lift your rod tip up, pick it off the ground, and then boom, flip it forward, and it's super easy. Any of you guys can learn this super soon. I hope you guys can get out there and start catching fish on a fly rod and start having a blast. They're super fun. If you want to learn how to actually fish with fly rods and other things that come with fly fishing gear and all that kind of stuff, you know, tactics, certain flies to use, all kinds of stuff, I have a video linked right here that you can actually go check out that I posted last week. Like I said, this is the sequel to that video. The other thing, guys, is please don't forget to subscribe for more content. I hope this demonstration helps. Like I said, it's kind of rough, you know, to demonstrate here when I'm not on the lake, but I'm doing my best to help you guys, and I really hope that if you follow those 3 steps, you know, keep practicing, I know you guys will get it because you guys are awesome. So please don't forget to subscribe for more tips. Don't give up on this. I know it's kind of a hard thing. I know you didn't really get to see the line that well, but all you really see is it just fly around in the air, and you'll feel it, you know, when you're going about it. Just stick to those steps and you'll be good. Also, if you guys want to get some cool like clothing, you know, when you're out there fishing, go check out Follow the Action Outdoor Lines. They make some sick designs like this, and they make anything from hunting designs to saltwater fishing to freshwater fishing. And you can actually use code UNREAL. I'll put their website and that code, how to spell it, down in the description, and that helps me more than you guys know. It is just super helpful to me on my goal, and their designs are freaking awesome. Like, this is the Last Cast Muskie design, just one of the ones that I own, and I love them. They make hoodies, shirts, koozies, all that kind of stuff, and they're freaking sick. Like I said about companies real quick for fly fishing stuff, almost all of my stuff that I own fly fishing comes from the White River Company, and my rod comes from that. A lot of my flies come from that, and they're really just a really good company to trust when you want to get into fly fishing. So stick to these steps, guys. Keep practicing. Don't give up, and as always, happy fishing, y'all.